from burnout and exhaustion to joy and fulfillment. Through the act of serving consciously, it's time to rediscover your passion. It's live with Elizabeth and guests on the Contact Talk Radio Network.
So tell me a bit. You just mentioned about the whole, when you made that decision to go inward, to look at what was going on inside as, as a means of changing what was happening for you on the outside, externally, like what was being reflected back. Were there any particular, self-discovery practices that you engaged in to kind of go there? Like, how did you?
As an avid fan of Joseph Campbell, he has a series of lectures, and one in particular caught my eye, which is on Kundalini Yoga. Now, what the Kundalini is a series of chakras or energy centers. There are 7 of them that extend from the base of the body on up through the crown of the head. And these are symbolic centers that represent fields of experience or planes of consciousness that are potential in the human spirit. So as he was given an explanation of what each of these centers symbolizes in us psychologically, I was immediately drawn in because, in particular, the first 3 chakras, if you will, which start at the base of the body and are located in the pelvic basin, are primarily involved with self-interest. And boy, could I relate. I was after health, wealth, and protecting me and mine, you might say. Right. In fact, I'm often reminded of medieval dragons because dragons hoard heaps of gold and virgins in caves, both of which they can make no use of, but they simply just guard. And as long as you are guarding, you are essentially keeping yourself shut off from the rest of the world. And the purpose of this illuminating journey inward is to break that dragon, which the real dragon is within us, and in order to open ourselves to a larger field of experience and relationship with everyone and everything that is in our immediate life.
Right. So it started with this exploration of the Kundalini Yoga and the exploration of the chakras. And so did you practice yoga a lot? Is that what you did?
Well, I practiced yoga in the ideas of yoga. As far as doing the downward facing dog and sitting on a mat, I did practice a little bit of that, which I must admit I would love to do more of it because it really does align your body and your mind in such a way that you just feel 10 feet tall after each class. Mm-hmm. But even though I am not prone to actual yoga, I use these ideas as a daily meditation. And all a meditation is something that we think about. A lot of us meditate on where our money's coming from and where it's going to go, but that's still a level of meditation. Mm-hmm. So it's essentially I took these 7 centers and observed through a titanic effort sometimes, not what the world was doing to me, but what I was doing to create circumstances that kept repeating themselves in my life. And I thought, it's not the world that keeps picking me for this thing. There's something in me that is generating this. And so through a series of just meditating on simple ideas, like where are you between 2 thoughts? And if you compare the mind to a pond that is rippling, you can't see the perfect reflection that the pond is trying to show you. Right. But by stilling the rippling of the pond, which essentially is you're stilling the thoughts in the mind, you are then brought back to your true identity, which is the identity that is the one image and life in all of us, inflected through different forms. So.
Oh, I love what you're saying there because one of the elements of the conscious service approach is around self-connection. And for me, I mean, when I started doing this research, it started out with trying to figure out how to best help people who were identified as themselves as service providers to develop a self-reflective practice. So all of those things like yoga or meditation or journaling or activities like that that would help us to connect, but sort of took us out of, like living our regular life and doing things and then interacting and being of service to people, and kind of something that we did on the side in order to, get to that core of who we were. And really self-connection to me is about doing exactly what you're describing, where you're living your life. It's not like, oh, something's happened and now I have to go sit down and meditate for half an hour to try to figure out, you know what I mean? Like where I am between what happened
Yeah.
and what's going to happen next. You're learning how to do it and practicing doing it in the moment and watching your own reflection, basically. It sounds
naturally.
Yeah.
Yes.